Hey guys, I'm doing another Tumblr Ask tutorial, and this one says, could you maybe sometime do a skin coloring tutorial? Your artwork is so sweet. Thank you. So we're going to do a skin coloring tutorial. I'm going to do 4 different skin tones, and they're basically done in the same way, so you'll see. You're going to need 4 colors for every skin tone. So I'm going to set those up here. And the first color that you're going to need is going to be called the base color. And for this color, you can take the eyedropper and just suck it out of a picture if you want. The first skin tone that we're going to do is like a fair complexion. Alright, so you take the base color and you fill in the whole face or all of the skin. The second color that we're going to use is the blush color. And the blush is going to be put wherever there are a lot of blood vessels in the face. So that's going to be the tip of the nose, around the eyes, the lips, and the cheeks. And for this, we're going to use a soft brush, not a hard-edged brush. So inside it would be like the watercolor, I think it's called the watercolor brush, and in Photoshop you could probably use the smudge tool or a different soft brush. I'm blending it in on the skin in the areas that I told you before, and I need to color in the eyes white because it looks weird with flesh colored eyes. For the lips, I use the full opacity of the blush color. So when you color in with a soft brush, it kind of diffuses the color, so I'm using the full opacity on the lips. Ooh, that's ugly. The third color we're gonna do is the highlight. And if you do makeup, it's going to be the same way that you put highlight on your face when you do makeup. You're doing it on your forehead, the tear ducts, the tip of the nose, by your cupid's bow, above your upper lip, and your chin, and the tops of your cheekbones. And again, we're doing that with a soft brush. The next color we're going to use is the shading color. And the shade is anywhere that light doesn't hit. So the light isn't going to hit right below your nose, right below your cheekbones, right below your lip, and right below the brow bone, right by your eye socket. People usually use a cool toned color for this, something that has a blue undertone, but I sometimes like to use a warm color to make the picture look more vibrant. I'm just cleaning up my messy out of the line coloring and putting some shading on the eyes. So that is the fair complexion. I'm just going to merge the colors and clean this up. Okay, so I'm just going to copy the same picture to do a mid-tone complexion, and it's me. Alright, so for a mid-tone complexion, I'm going to be using warm colors. So I have a kind of a orangey yellowish base color, a coral color for the blush, a highlight, and here I'm going to do 2 colors mixed together, and then the shading color. Same as before, we're going to use the base color and fill in anywhere the skin is. And again, you can pick the base color by using the eyedropper tool. It was bothering me that her ear wasn't colored. Okay, now on to the blush. The blush on a mid-tone skin color is kind of used how, if you do makeup, how you do bronzer. So it's kind of like a halo around your face. So around the top of the forehead, the cheekbones, anywhere where the sun is touching, tip of the nose. Like if you were to go out and get a tan, that's where you would put these colors. And again, with a hard brush, I'm going to do the lips using the same color that I'm using for the blush. Full opacity for the lips. Okay, and for the highlight, tear ducts, top of the cheekbones, tip of the nose, forehead, chin. Soft brush. Again. And I felt like the color was a little bit too yellow, so I'm mixing in a cooler toned yellow or a paler yellow. Pictures look so ugly without line art. Okay. And then, again, shading under the cheekbones, under the nose, under the lips, and under the brow bone. So I'm doing it a full opacity, and then I'm on that layer, I'm lowering the opacity and then taking a soft brush or a blending brush to blend out the edges. And I'm doing all these colors on different layers. That's why at the end you see me merging the layers. And doing them on different layers kind of helps. If you mess up something, you can just delete that layer. We're going to move on to a deeper skin tone. And she has kind of a reddish undertone to her skin, an overall redness. So we're going to take browns that have that red tone in them. So we have a base, a blush, a highlight, and a shading color, just like before. Why does my voice always break? All right. For the base color, again, filling in everywhere that the skin would be. And sometimes with deeper skin tones, you will have a hard time using the color dropper to get the base skin tone. So I'm going to put a link down below that has, it's like a chart with every skin tone on it that you can just use your eyedropper tool and slurp the color out of it. So I'll leave a link to that down below. Again, I'm going to put the blush on the cheeks, the nose, and the forehead, but I didn't this time, and full opacity blush on the lips. So for this, it doesn't quite look right. It kind of looks like she's wearing lipstick right now. So I use the multiply option on that layer, and that's a more realistic lip color for a person with a deeper skin tone. And a great thing about all of these colors being on different layers is if something doesn't quite look right, you can go into hue and saturation and mess around with the color till it looks good for you. On a deeper skin tone, I like to use the blush with a little more of a lighter touch, because on a deeper skin tone, the blush is not going to show through as brightly as it would if somebody was very pale. So it's there, but it's going to be a little bit more subtle. Again, with the shading in the same place. So you can basically see for all these colors, I'm doing the same thing with little tweaks here and there for every skin tone. And there are a lot more skin tones than just these four, but I feel like if you know how to do these 4 skin tones, then you can do any of them that are in the range in between. I forgot the ear. I hope you can't hear my neighbor mowing his lawn. Ugh. You probably can. All right, so the next skin tone we're going to do is like a very, very pale, very pale skin tone. So for this one, most of these skin tones that I've done have been warmer based skin tones. This one is going to have a cooler base. So when I say cooler base, you can tell, like when you look at the picture, there's a lot of blue tones in it. So that means that her skin tone has a cold undertone, a blue undertone. My skin tone had a yellow undertone, so hers is a blue. So we're coloring in with the base. There, fix the ear finally. And with the soft brush again, doing the blush. Even though her picture, she really doesn't have a lot of blush, but she's wearing makeup. If she were not and she was this pale, this would be where I'm putting the blush underneath. Okay, onto highlight. And for this highlight, I'm just using pure white, or really, really close to pure white. You can see my eyedropper in the corner on the color wheel is almost touching the white completely. Then we have the shading color, and the color has more of a blue undertone, just like the picture. And just for an added effect, I'm going to add a little bit of blue with the watercolor brush. Okay, and there are the 4 skin tones. Oh, and then if you want to figure out what the undertone for a skin tone is, or your own skin tone, if you're going to do a self-portrait or something like that, if you look at your wrist or the inner, or your inner elbow, I don't know what it's called. Okay, and you can see your veins. If you look at your veins on your wrist and your veins look green, that means you have a yellow undertone. If you look at your veins and your veins look greenish blue, you have neutral. And if you have a pink undertone to your skin, your veins will be blue. So if you're out there looking for makeup, looking for foundation, that's how you will find what undertone you are. Okay, so that was coloring skin tones. Again, I'm gonna leave the palette that has all the skin tones in it in a link down below. And thank you for watching. Hope this video helped. If you have any more questions, you can send them to my Tumblr, ursuladecayart.tumblr.com. Bye.